Alright, my name's Courtney. My first skill is the defensive stance and footwork. This one's focusing on sliding rather than the step method for the defensive stance. First I'm going to go over explaining the skill and what it is and how it relates to the game. So this skill is used on the defensive side of the game and when trying to keep the ball away from the other team scoring to obtain the ball for your team. When in the defensive stance, you are down lower, hands on the ball and reaching up for the ball or distracting the opponent. You are blocking when sliding your feet with yourself as the player moves. This is important to know as you may be able to obtain the ball yourself or for another teammate trying to pass or score the ball. Some cues for performing this skill. First one is having your toes pointed forward. Kind of hard to see on this camera. You're going to want to have your toes pointed towards the movement you're going and a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. Keeping your hands and arms active and engaged without fouling during movement and while stationary. Keeping your body low and controlled. A lot of players don't play low enough in this defensive stance, and that's kind of a common error during the movement. And sliding your feet in unison, it's kind of like this, rather than overstepping them or tripping yourself. So you can kind of do that by going toe to toe or heel to heel instead of crossing over. Some common errors people do is having your toes or feet pointed in the wrong direction. So they may be facing this way and their opponent is here, or they may be facing this way and their opponent's here. You need to be face them regardless of where they're turning. You just always want your toes pointed towards them and be able to move in that movement. Another one is not keeping your hands and arms engaged. This will help you keep balance and allow the opponent some distraction, and you're able to stop the ball. Next one is not keeping your body position low enough, which can cause incorrect movement and or protection of the ball when sliding your feet, like I mentioned before. And not keeping your feet in unison, again, can also trip yourself or allow the opponent to get away. How to fix these common errors is practicing and learning to keep your toes pointed forward during the movement when conducting any drill with movement and when sliding. Making teammates accountable when guarding and having hands up. Next one, placing weight on the balls of your feet to help your body stay low. So that's kind of like keeping all your weight heels of your feet rather than the toes. That'll help you keep your ground. Next one is practicing simple things such as walking vertically with your feet. So that's just practicing walking like this while you're in the defensive stance, keeping your hands up while doing it. You can just do that as a court movement, going down and back during practice. Other simple things, such as practicing that during game mode. And some feedback you can give to players is just making sure they're in that stance. So if you see a player, this is the defensive mode you like your players to be in when you're practicing back and forth. If this ball, pretend this is a basketball and I have one. This is the ball out in front of you. Your hand wants to be following that at all times during the game. If you see a player just standing up guarding like this, you can direct them by like tapping on their back to go down lower. If their feet are all wonky, you can just direct their feet forward. That's basically it. It's a pretty simple stance to have. You just want to make sure players have the correct position, are able to guard the opposing players, and possibly get possession of the ball.